friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Cher. Today we are going to be talking all things Natasha Denona, pretty much my favorite brand, especially for eyeshadow palettes. So what I'm planning to do today is rank 8 palettes that I own by Natasha Denona. About 4 of them are brand new within the last month. I'll explain in a minute, but basically I've had a chance to play with some of those and all of the ones I already had and just love. And I thought I love a good rankings video, and I really want to be able to share just the different looks that I've made with each of these palettes with you. So if all of that interests you, stick around and we'll dive in, and we're going to attempt to rank Natasha Denona palettes with pictures of different looks of each. So if that is your vibe, then let's get started. All right, guys, so welcome. I'm Cher, like I said, and one of the things I really love to do is rank eyeshadow palettes. I bring a monthly eyeshadow palette rankings video. You're going to see a little duplicate this month because I've tried out some of these new Natasha Denona palettes in there when I get to that. But at the end of the month, I always do a rankings for all of the palettes that I used for the month, and I try to rank them just based on like where I'm feeling that month. I've also really gotten into just ranking other things in general. It really helps me kind of just get a better feeling for the review and like different beauty products and whatnot. On my channel, I do a lot of beauty boxes here. And so sometimes I really get to try a lot of different beauty that way. I cover the spoilers, the unboxings, the try-ons for a lot of popular beauty boxes. But I also love, I'm really into luxury beauties, but then I've realized a lot of it's just kind of whatever brands and certain like beauty products are calling my name. I do tend towards luxury, but then, you know, there's some other brands that I love too. And one thing I'm really doing is I think I'm starting to kind of collect my favorite brands, like palettes within those brands. Like whenever a brand comes out with a new palette, I'm going to get it. And Natasha Denona is one of those. So that's kind of the culmination today of that. And so I own 8 palettes by her. And what has happened in this last month is that I've gotten 4 brand new ones from her. One came in a beauty box, in the Trend Nude box just recently. And then what happened was I saw her Memorial Day sale. And so I grabbed 2 palettes I had been wanting forever on that sale. And then of course she just came out with the golden palette. So of course I had to get that and do a review. So that is 4 that I've gotten in the last month and gotten to play with. So I feel like I have enough palettes now to be able to give you guys a fun ranking. I don't own all of them. Like I don't own the Yucca palette, which is so popular. I don't own the bronze one. But we're going to rank the 8 that I do own. And they are, I think, fairly popular and my favorites. I mean, I love these palettes. So enough talking and explaining. We're going to dive in. So we're going to rank it like going from 8 as the least favorite. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's Natasha Denona, so come on, up to the most favorite and #1 slot. I also just recently became an affiliate for Natasha Denona, so I was so excited about that too. And it's fitting because it's my favorite brand. And so just, you know, you can always use Cher Toro. I'll put the discount code on the screen for you and down in the caption for 15% off on her site at any time. All right, so we're going to kick it off at number 8. Again, they're all amazing palettes, okay? So just because something's at number 8 does not mean it's bad. It's Natasha Denona, so they're all amazing. But my number 8, my last place, is going to be the Sunrise palette. This is actually surprisingly too my first Natasha Denona palette. So you would think that I'd have more sentimental attachment. I mean, I will never be getting rid of it, I can tell you that, but it is ranked as my last. I think it's just, first of all, I feel like the formula is almost different in this one than a lot of her others. I don't feel like I can work with it as well as some of her other palettes for some reason. I don't know what it is that's different in here. It's also just, it's not colors that I tend to wear is another thing. I mean, this is your Tahiti Sunrise palette all the way. So very summery and tropical. Like I do bring it out at this time of year. And I enjoy playing with it, but I just don't tend towards these that much. And I even realized, like I just recently opened a ColourPop Juicy Fruit one that has very summery like reds, and it kind of reminds me of the same idea. And I ended up liking that one better than this one. And I'm like, and it's ColourPop, you know? So I think I just, maybe the looks I make with it, I don't always care for as much. I think like a lot of the reds in it are only shimmers, if you'll notice that. But the times that I have made softer colors, like over on this side using the pinks, I have liked it more. But in general, the reds and the warms are not always what I love to wear. I don't always feel like they even look as good on me. They're really fun. They definitely make that summer look, but I don't know. It's not as great. So I can share like a few of the pictures I've made. I'm trying to pull ones I've made from even like a long time ago and go back to like old pictures to share with you. Like I know I have one with these soft colors in here, but then I recently did a fun, you know, summer look with these also. So, and I think I even have a YouTube video out there, a get ready with me from like when I first started YouTubing. So I'm trying to pull as many pictures for you to get a feel for the looks as possible. But yeah, so that's last place. Okay, I was surprised about this too. Second to last place, coming in at number 7, is this brand new Mini Crush palette that we just got in the Trend Mood box. Like I love the idea of it too, because I'm a pink girl. I love pinks. And so it has, you know, hot pink shimmer right there. I don't know. I just wasn't, I mean, it's really good. I still love it. Like, believe me. And this was almost the reason for getting the Trend Mood box this time was this little palette in there. I will probably love it more when it comes to be Valentine's Day too. And I'm back into my pink element and like it's back to spring and all that. I think there's just others in these other palettes that I'm loving so much more that this just fell towards the end. Yeah. And there's pretty much like mostly one look you make with it. I mean, you could leave out the pink and stay with more reds, but it's pretty much going to be like, that's your poppin' color right there of all to make that like pink look. And coming in at number 6 is another mini palette. I absolutely love this though. But this is your Easter and spring fun pastel colors and everything, but you do have the blue and green here, which I love these two together. But then I've also made fun Easter and like spring looks with this side also. There's just, you know, like you can make a couple different looks with it, but I think, you know, you're going to see that the mini ones are going to come in, you know, behind the bigger ones, because the bigger ones, you can make more looks with them. You're limited on the mini ones, right? So I still love this one, but it's just that it's small and less things I can do than with all these other ones. So the next few palettes, the bigger ones are like, just love them so much is why. So that is number 6. And this is called the Mini Pastels palette. It came out maybe 2 springs ago. Along with like her highlight, you know, collection and stuff, the Pixie Pastels or something like that, kind of shifty lights and all. Okay, now we're getting to the top 5, which I know we didn't have that many to be like, ooh, top 5, but I mean, and this truly is like everything in this pile are my babies, my absolute babies, guys. So it's hard to like, it was so hard to rank, so hard. I really struggled with this, but number 5, I think I'm going to say the Glam palette. Now, so this is one of the ones I just got and got it on the Memorial Day sale. I had been eyeing it and wanting it for a long time. And I think it's because it's got all those grungy shades in it. I had been trying to decide between this one and the Huda Beauty grunge palette. But I felt like they were kind of similar in a lot of ways because they had those very grungy colors. You've got some grays, some charcoals, just, I don't know, that was kind of where I was really at. I was really drawn to these kinds of shimmers and those almost cooler toned, I don't want to say that some of these can still make neutral. I mean, some of them can make kind of like neutrally looks too, but with a little bit more of a cooler toned set of color stories in here. So the only thing about this is I might be cheating a little bit on this rankings because I still haven't played with this a lot to really give it a full good review, I think. So because I've only made like 2 looks and I only have a picture of one, and it was just very like kind of gray. So I don't think I've given this palette a fair shot. It's just that these other 4 excite me so much that it fell behind those. But I still love it. I was still so drawn to it because I just really, these are the shades I've just been feeling, like that grunge look, which is crazy because it's summertime right now. And you'd think I'd be wanting this more in the winter and fall. I don't know. I was just so in my element there with it. So that is number 5, is the Glam palette. Coming in at number 4, oh God, this was so hard. You guys have heard me rave about this. You saw a full review on it. That's the Zenon palette. I love this thing. I love this thing. I love this thing so much. Of course, this was what came out at the holidays. I made like the 3 different looks with it. Now, it's definitely a blue leaning palette. But I set out to kind of test and see, can you still make silver looks with it? And you can. There's only certain ones though that you can make like those silver, you know, looks with. Everything else kind of leans pretty blue. It's a very like frosty blue holidays palette for sure. It was great at the holidays. And I have absolutely loved this palette though, like loved it. And so I know that it's just kind of, it's a very monotone color story. Some people really critiqued that, but for me, like I felt it was so versatile for some different things I wanted to do, because maybe it's because I don't have a lot of other palettes like this. I have like 1 or 2 that are all cool tone, you know, silvers and smokies and, you know, frosty, but not like this. So for me, it was more unique. And then her formula for like a holiday formula, just absolutely stunning. I loved it. So I want to kind of share all of them so you can see, because I have definitely used this palette a lot and gotten a lot of use out of it. And it ranked number 1 on a lot of my monthly rankings videos for a while there. Coming in at number 3. So each one of these you're seeing me like, oh, like I'm just so dreamy about all these palettes. I finally picked up the Retro Glam palette. I've been wanting it forever too. Here it is. Okay, so normally guys, these are not really colors that just wow me and draw me in, but this was so unique. I felt like for Natasha Denona, like it was just such a different color story. It wasn't all her typical like peachy bronzy shades. And it definitely, like the fact that she called it Retro Glam, I think was the perfect name for this. It has that like 1950s and 60s feel to it, you know, like totally retro. And so that's why I wanted it and have wanted it for so long. But I didn't necessarily think it was always the colors I'd wear. But y'all, when I put this on, I did not expect to fall so in love with it. I mean, I knew I wanted the palette, but I love this palette. It is so, I don't know what it is. It is so stunning. I feel like when I wear more like whites though, it goes better with that. That's not what I'm wearing right now, by the way. I know it kind of almost looks like some of the greens in here. This is actually, I'll have to talk about this in my monthly rankings video. It's not holding up so well. I don't love this, but that's not the Retro Glam, I assure you. Now, again, I have not had a chance to play with it as much either, so I haven't been able to give a really fair lots and lots of looks with it, but man, when I did, amazing. Okay, now we're down to the last 2. I struggled for like 5 minutes going back and forth. And I'm just going to tell you which ones I was trying to decide between as my top. The ones that were like gunning for number 1 the most. The I Need a Nude palette and the Golden palette. This brand new Golden palette. So keep in mind, I don't have the original gold. For each of these, I do have a full review on each of them. So I did a full review on the I Need a Nude and a full review on the Golden palette. Each of them, I think, have at least 3 looks. but I've worn this one, especially since then, several times. So this is the one that's been my number one for a while. And it's cause, you know, it's so pretty, isn't it? Like, okay, I still don't feel though that it's a true neutrals palette. I feel like this leans very bronzy and peachy, but it's still so pretty, and these shimmers are so me. So it's neutrals enough that I've been able to just do like everything with it. It's just, I just lean for it all the time. Like, this is what I want to wear on my eyes. But now that I have reviewed the golden palette, I felt like it was honestly more neutral, especially over on this side of the palette, than the I Need a Nude, which I pointed out in my golden review. But then on top of that, you can make these stunning gold looks. I felt like such a golden goddess in it. And so that's where I am just so torn, is they're like probably truly tied for me. But I think because you can make these stunning shimmers with these right in here and still make this like gorgeous, and like this one too, it reminds me of the I Need a Nude in a way. And you can still pull off such pretty, subtle, gorgeous, shimmering, neutral looks. But then you can also add in the extra va va voom pop as well. Gosh, I just don't know. I don't know. I think I might even make golden my top one. I think it's going to be my top one. So I think that I Need a Nude is going to come in as number 2, which I know is crazy. And I think this is almost like everybody's favorite palette of Natasha Denona's. Like, everybody out there kind of was like, this is sort of the great uniter. Like, so many people love this one. I think it's just, I don't know. Like, I think like I just feel like I can do a little bit more with this one of what I would normally do of just the true neutrals, even though I know it's all like monochrome, like it's goldens and browns, you know, but it has a little bit more wide array of things I want to do, because I'm not always like wanting to do just peach snobs every day. And I feel like this palette is peach snobs to me, which I've said before. So yeah, so I think I'm going with this as number 2. I think like my favorite looks are with the shimmers, just a good like neutral champagne style shimmer. But I have done like more peachy leaning ones, especially in that original review I had. I'm trying to think of what else I did in that one. I think I tried this one maybe, and it doesn't pop that much, but yeah. So a few, you know, nice looks with it, but they do lean peach. But the champagne is definitely my favorite of this one. Like I said, number 1 is the golden palette right now for me. I know a lot of people will be like, because a lot of people passed on this palette. So I get it. I'm just explaining for me personally why, like, this is what I would wear every single day in these neutrals here. And then that pop of yellow was like, wowzers. Like, I just love that golden yellow. But then, as I pointed out in that review video, this white right here is so perfect. And the fact that she added that is amazing, because I can actually do like a cool tone kind of look, because you can even do a little bit pinky and the white with a little touch of like one of these neutrals. And you've got like that cool tone look where you can add like toppers to it. And I don't know, it just does everything. It does everything. So my number 1. So there you have it, guys. Just 8 palettes, but it's probably a good bit of her palettes. You know, I still have a few more. I'd still want the Yucca, you know, but it's interesting. Like, the Yucca is so neat color story wise. It's just, I feel like, am I going to wear a lot from it? I don't do a lot of those greens and blues, but I could surprise myself, kind of like the Retro Glam. I ended up absolutely loving it. I don't have the bronze either, but I'm almost like, do I need it if I have these 2 palettes, you know? And there may be a few mini ones I don't have. I don't have the Loco, what is it called? I can't remember the Loco one. That might be neat. So there's a few more I still might collect at some point, but these were my biggest ones, honestly. So I'm so happy with what I have with my collection. and you'll definitely see more Natasha Denona from me in the future. And if I get a lot more, we could do another rankings video. And you'll want to stay tuned for my monthly rankings video as well. I definitely have another eyeshadow palette declutter coming to you guys, because I just did one, but I have already filled up my drawers from all the palettes lately. So you're gonna be seeing another declutter soon, so be looking for that as well. So if you're really into like the eyeshadow declutters and the collections and whatnot and rankings, you'll want to stick around, and for all my other beauty and vlog content as well. So you'll want to pop that subscribe, turn the notification bell to on. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.